Bring it on, bring it on.
You,
bring it on.
Oh. Life know the sweet though, hey. If some people know the hate though, so use the number 6 so and calculate. You go see the ratio. The beef self na meat though, whether na asu them relate though. So bring your own crayfish oh, we go mix so oh la. Shane and them talk say we no go blow. Share them they see us now, we don't dey glow. Take a look at me now, take a look at me now. We're running things in this town, can't you see?
I don't care who you are, where you're from, or what you do. Just as long as you're chasing money, do what's right, never give up on it. Bring it on, bring it on.
Are you ready? Unu ready?
No matter how you try, don't you ever fall. Keep your head up high and standing tall. Bring it on, bring it on.
Are you ready? Unu ready?
No matter how you try, don't you ever fall. Keep your head up high and standing tall.
And rising, rising, rising. Keep it high, rising, rising.
Bring it on.
This life is not easy. So much hustling and puzzling. Everyone is struggling. So make you know they believe say, since everyone is chasing, you're never gonna make it. Never say no, never give up. Keep your head up, standing tall. And for sure, you go turn it up, turn down for what? Hey, Shane and them talk say, we no go blow. Share them they see us now, we don't dey glow. Take a look at me now, take a look at me now. We're running things in this town, can't you see?
I don't care who you are, where you're from, or what you do. Just as long as you're chasing money, do what's right, never give up on it. Bring it on, bring it on.
Are you ready? Unu ready?
No matter how you try, don't you ever fall. Keep your head up high and standing tall. Bring it on, bring it on.
Are you ready? Unu ready?
No matter how you try, don't you ever fall. Keep your head up high and standing tall.
And rising, rising, rising. Keep it high, rising, rising.
I don't care who you are, where you're from, or what you do. Just as long as you're chasing money, do what's right, never give up on it. Bring it on, bring it on.
Are you ready? Unu ready?
No matter how you try, don't you ever fall. Keep your head up high and standing tall.
Bring it on, bring it on. Are you ready? Unu ready?
No matter how you try, don't you ever fall. Keep your head up high and standing tall.
Today we are not just going to be looking at it from the personal perspective. We are also going to be looking at it from the leadership perspective and organizational perspective. What can you do as an individual to take care of yourself at work? What can employers do to make sure that self-care is optimal in the workplace? As well as what can organizations as well do to ensure that self-care takes cognizance or takes first place in terms of work. So today I am going to be talking about the workplace dynamics, which has been changing rapidly. You agree with me that it's no longer how it used to be. Hybrid schedules, blood boundaries, and the rise of Gen Zs as workforce. You understand that these people, they are very much aware of their mental wellness, their mental health. I was laughing when Monica mentioned mental health. I said, that's their word. Don't stress them. Mm-hmm. We've all seen what was happening in the social media 2 days ago for people that maybe live on the island or came from the island. There was flood and people were stuck in traffic for hours. And we are seeing all the memes on social media. The Gen Zs, we are sending out messages to their HR. I'm not coming to work tomorrow. If the world wants to fall, let it fall. I need to protect my. So this is who they are. and we cannot avoid handling them because they are the people who make up the workforce. So what do we do to ensure that we accommodate them in the workplace? So we'll be having that conversation today, and I have my expert panel session, Patrick Okere from me. So what does self-care at workplace mean to you?
It's really a pleasure to be here once again for this second edition of this wonderful program. Self-care at workplace. Let us put in proper context. Who are these people you find at the workplace? The people you find at the workplace are the people that have put their blood and sweat together for national prosperity. When Dr. Afolabi was talking yesterday, he was trying to get a link between health of the workforce and national prosperity. So we discovered that the workplace is the engine room of national development. It's actually the backbone of economic productivity. They are the people that pay tax. In fact, when the modern father of Singapore took over office, his emphasis was on health and education. He said that if you have a healthy workforce that are educated, your GDP will automatically rise. And I strongly believe and agree with his thinking, which has made Singapore from a third world country to a first world country. So if you're talking about the workforce self-care, you're not talking about intentional habits, intentional actions that people in the workforce take, to make sure that they maintain their physical well-being, their mental well-being, and their emotional well-being, to enable them navigate the professional landscape. Now, there is also an angle I want to add to the workforce self-care. When we talk about workforce self-care or self-care at the workplace, we tend to overemphasize the corporate setting. So in my own opinion, I think that now that we are into this conversation, there is an aspect of workforce self-care we should also look into. When I should talk about inclusivity and of course talk about other people. For instance, in 1993, there's a magazine called Life Magazine. Life Magazine is produced by Guardian newspapers. They raised an alarm about the problem that mechanics were having. They came with the idea that mechanics were dying prematurely. They raised our consciousness to the fact that mechanics in this country were dying prematurely. And what was causing the problem was their interaction with hazardous chemicals. You see a mechanic washing hands with petrol, and at the end of the day, most of these things impact their health. Now, what I'm saying is that we should be able to develop a protocol, self-care protocol, that would cater to the needs of these people who are also in the informal sector. Now, at the end of it all, if you are talking about your the issue of your well-being while you are still working, one thing you should bear in mind is that, like we say in our local parlance, man no be wood.
Patrick, okay, I mean, you have actually been able to move our mind from not talking about self-care in the corporate setting, not just talking about self-care in the corporate setting, but also moving beyond the corporate setting to the artisans. That's actually a good one. So it's a food for thought for all of us here. So while we are also talking about self-care, it's beyond the corporate setting. So let's hear from Dr. Uchenna. What does self-care in the workplace mean to you?
I like the way that he has moved away from what everybody thinks the corporate setting is or workplace is. Because most times, when we think about workplace, we are looking at offices. Now, people's workplaces today are remote in their houses. So we are going to be talking about self-care generally. So whether you're working in your house, whether you're working in an office setting, whether you're working in a farm, or you're working, he said mechanic, whatever place that, your job happens, you have to think about self-care in that particular case and in that place and for yourself. Okay, so we are looking at habits that people should actually form that will help them, to be able to do their work effectively, and not get any occupational hazards added to it. Because in whatever you work, we'll use the one that is most common. Most people work in offices, and it seems as if they are harmless places. There are not much hazards like the mechanics he talked about, right? But one of the greatest hazards is what we are doing right now. We're sitting down. So it's called the sitting disease. We're actually putting a name to it and calling it the sitting disease. So if you're sitting down at work, just know that that is harm. So if you want to do self-care well, you have to actually be intentional about everything that concerns your health while you're working. Using the same example about sitting down, if you want to be intentional and you do not want that sitting down to harm you, you need to get up every 20 minutes. So even as we are sitting there, we're supposed to get up and do a break every 20 minutes. That's going to be good for our backs. If you don't do that, you might put your back at risk. A lot of people all over the world are complaining about back pain. And we know what is causing the back pain. We just haven't, put it to our minds that we have the opportunity and the ability to take away the cause of the back pain. I tell you what, if you get up every 20 minutes and you walk around, that back pain will reduce. Not if you already have it. If you already have it, you have to, work on it. You have to do something about it, maybe physiotherapy and some other things. And definitely, please don't use only drugs because you'll be in for the long haul. So self-care in the workplace, it starts with simple things. And I actually believe that it's not just you, your organization too. You should be able to, reach out to your organization to also tell them things that will help you to work better.
Something as small as sitting habits in the workplace. No, not about sitting down. I said technology better. Technology has even made it better for us. Some of us have smartwatches. Some of us have smartwatches that can help us to prompt you most times say it's time to stand up. I have a watch like that. Sometimes when you sit for so long, it will prompt you and say time to stand up, and then it gives you a few minutes to stand up, and then it says close your ring. You have not sit up 7 hours or stand up to 6 hours today, and stuff like that. So little habits like that to make sure that we are intentional about incorporating such habits in the workplace. So thank you so much, Dr. Uchenna, for capturing that. So we'll just go to our other panelists to talk about what does self-care in the workplace mean to you. I mean, working in a corporate organization, I'm sure you would give us from that perspective.
And firstly, I want to really appreciate Dr. Monica for this commendable event. Well done, man. And thank you to my moderator for this question. So before I even proceed into the question that has been asked, like what Dr. Uche has mentioned, in terms of the sitting down, it's leading so many hazards that we don't even know. Just to add to it, whether you're in the corporate space or you're working remotely from your house, sitting position matters. Most of us working, we make use of laptops or desktop in the office. Do you know normally the way the laptop should be placed, the top of the screen should be at a high level? Whether you're at home or you're in the office space, because they are not meant to be bending down. It also affects the spine and the waist. So it's the usual thing that we find ourselves doing also leads to it. But now, to respond deliberately to your question is, self-care in the workplace now is all about not just being intentional, also being proactive. You have to be proactive to be able to manage physical, mental, and emotional being for what? Productivity. So, and in the workplace that we have all been mentioning, to me is made up of two sets of parameters. The employee, that is organization. Then the individual, the employee. Both of them have what? Needs. The need of the organization is return on investment, productivity, improved quality. But for the employee, is talking about fair pay and pay, competitive what? Remuneration. He wants to be what? Valued, appreciated, work-life balance. But the truth of the matter is, to be able to achieve these needs from these two category aspects now, there must be a what? A balance. It must be a mutual symbiotic relationship. And without self-care, it cannot be achieved. Because it's only self-care that can ensure that dynamic balance. So it's like a seesaw that we see in the children playground, that the children play with and they sit down. One side is the organization, the operational need. The other side is the employee need. But the pivot, the fulcrum that is holding that plank is self-care. And if the self-care, if the base is strong, then you'll be able to achieve that multiple and the optimum balance. Then there is something I also want to mention. You cannot get anything from empty bottle. So if the self-care is expected from the individual, which is his responsibility, and organizations also have a role to also play in that self-care. And if there is nothing the employee can give in terms of physical well-being, mental well-being, what is it called? The emotional well-being.
I remember that when I was young, my dad used to harass us. Let me put the word harass, because children don't like to do stuff. That we should take care of our environment, because when you take care of your environment will take care of you. Then we talked about mosquitoes. Because we know that mosquitoes causes malaria and malaria kills. And no matter how much they tell you malaria kills, we don't believe malaria kills. It's like, it's not just giving an Agin injection and chloroquine on your back. And as I grow up, I realized, being a mom, I realized that taking care of the environment is much more important as well. I remember there was a day I told my children that they shouldn't play in the bathroom, and people can play in the bathroom, have accidents and die. Then one day their nieces came to play with them. I was in the kitchen and one of them just said, "Mommy, Timileyin wants to kill herself." Honestly, I didn't know that child was playing in the bath. I was shaking. I ran upstairs and said, "Kill herself." She said she was playing in the bathroom. And for once, I realized that some messages are well past, especially when we tell the children the reasons why. And that's the whole essence of what we're doing today. We've talked about self-care. Self-care is not selfishness. There's an advocacy role now that everybody's saying everybody should go through self-care, take the rest, take the sleep, do the exercise, clear your head, all of that and all of that. But today we're connecting it to the climate. Can you imagine if the rain has been stressing us? I'm in September born now. I'm even harassed that why is rain falling every day in September? It's never been like that. Can you imagine if this climate change rain continues and in torrential, and we're like, can it affect the way we rest? Can we affect? Already the rain is giving some people hypertension. Cars are spoiled, household materials are destroyed, people couldn't go out, and that's the impact of the climate. While we take care of ourselves, now we're saying that can we pay attention to the environment? Because our health, ourselves, and the climate or the environment cannot be separated. So just like my dad said, we want to see how we can take care of the environment so that the environment can take care of us, and that's the whole essence of what we're doing today. So I'm going to be asking the panelists questions. These are people that already have the resources that is required to enlighten us on what is required for us to take care of the environment, because truly the environment has a way of rewarding us. Clear the bushes, there won't be mosquitoes. We used to live in my dad's house, we were the only ones on the streets, snakes come visiting. And so when 2 snakes came, we didn't have to be one to clear our environment. Yes, I've seen snakes before. Very, very funny creatures. You know, they're just there. You don't even know that. You're not even aware the thing is there until it moves, and it scares the hell out of you. And so we're going to be talking about our environment now, how it affects our peace of mind, how it affects our well-being, how it affects our capacity to process even the information that we have, to fulfill destiny, to fulfill purpose, to work. Some people couldn't go to work yesterday. I was told that the rain allowed some people to get home at 2 a.m. And yesterday some people didn't even have to go to work. So the environment, how does it impact on us? So I'm going to start my question. I'm going to start with Professor Mendy. So self-care is often seen as an individual practice. But in your view, how does this connect to community well-being and public health?
One thing about life is that you can't change nature. It is only nature that can change you or make you great. And one thing that I've seen that nature tries to do and stay in us is ability for us to react. And how you react determines how eventually your health responds. A lot of speakers dwelt on self-care, but I want to ask, why does self-care fail? There must be something that must happen before it works, and that thing is a love motive force. That force that sensitizes you to intelligence, ability to take the right habit and decisions for the purpose of living optimally. If you don't have intelligence or the information to help you, you cannot help yourself. And that's where the love comes in. Wellness has a direct relationship with desire and worthiness. And the exponent of the love force is what gives you the complement to make it whole. Where you can now see that when the rain falls or the climate is not good, you decided to wear something to cover yourself, not wearing singlet. And sometimes for some of us, you wear a hat. So that if the rain starts to fall, it will soak you right away. And of course, to the ladies too, you like to wear something on. Or, equivalently, if you live, a lot of people, when they have accumulated wealth, you go to their rooms, it's just like a jungle. They get all furniture and fill the whole place up in ability to impress. Although these things choke, these things in them choke your survival. And that is minimalization helps. Where you want to put a television of 100 inches, good enough. But let it be in a big room that will give you space to breathe. The same thing with your cushion and so on and so forth. These things create distortions in your thinking and how you look at your life. And at the end of it, you have the money, but you lack the senses to live optimally. This is the problem why people live 100 years, others live 50 years. Yet, they are practicing self-care. So, one thing that is very, very important, which of course I want to summarize, is SMART, sustainability. Is your habit sustaining your health? Sustaining your income? Sustaining your family? Okay? Number 2, mindfulness. These are basics of wellness. There are a lot of things in life that happens that is outside your control. No matter how you try, leave those things to prayer.
But nature can change how we respond and react. And we want us to look at our habits, how our habits sustain our health, and how our health, our health habits can also sustain our community. And Dr. Can you shed more light on those habits that affect the community?
Before I go straight to the question, I just want to simplify what climate change is. Because sometimes we use terms that maybe not everyone in the room or online may know what it is. And just in simple terms, it just means that the climatic conditions, the weather conditions are changing or have changed over time. And I'll use a quick analogy. When I was growing up, I remember in school they taught us, in Nigeria we have 2 seasons, right? Dry season and rainy season. And we knew the distinct time, period, that this was happening. Farmers could plan, everyone could make preparations based on that. You talked about being in September born. I'm sure then in September it wasn't raining, but now things are changing. So what are the contributing factors? And I'll go back to how self-care affects our community. One of the contributing factors is a space where I work, which is waste management. And then we have talked about the importance of taking care of the environment, because sometimes some of the contributors to climate change are actually the human activities, our own activities. Let's look at a state like Lagos. Lagos is a coastal state, right? And still yet, at this time, in 2025, some people still believe that instead of taking care of their immediate environment where they generate waste, they still believe that they generate waste in their homes, they put it in the gutters, right? And think that the water will take it away. But no, the water is not going to take it away. That's not self-care. Self-care means take care of your environment, the waste you generate, manage it, but don't allow it to affect the environment, because ultimately it will affect your neighbors and it will affect you. And at the end of the day, it will also affect your health. So if you look at it, whatever happens to the environment comes back to affect your health. Because why do we have flooding? Yes, there's increase in rainfall. The climatic changes are happening. There is a lot of heavier rainfall, the volume of rainfall. The sea levels are rising, yes. But if the drainages are not clear, if we put our waste into the drainages, thinking it will flow, it's not going to flow. And that's how flooding comes. And that's why you are seeing that some people are having issues. Just this week, I know the number of people I've seen, not only on social media. So these are actual people that I know, that their houses are flooded. Why are they flooded? Sometimes the drainages are blocked. So when we are talking about self-care, yes, take care of yourself, take care of your immediate environment. But then our actions, our activities are affecting our communities.
There is an adage that the good and the bad works together. So imagine we just living our lives in the world and we're changing the climate that we're not even aware that it's being impacted. And that's what you just told us now. So we could actually be living our lives, doing our whole thing, and we could be impacting on the health, not just ours, of our neighbors and our community. And therefore, self-care goes beyond I'm feeling good. How about other people? And how about the whole community? So what is that one thing that you want to start doing that impacts positively on everyone, including your environment? And that's what you told us. Imagine the waste that we produce as humans by just doing our whole thing, doing our whole businesses and all that, and how it's impacting on the health of everyone. So thank you very much. Thank you for talking about that. I'm going to go to Uju now. Uju, so tell me. She has talked about climate change. She actually said that climate change feels abstract because a lot of us feel is one terminology somewhere. So I want you to tell us some of the most immediate ways it's already impacting our health. This climate change, what are the most immediate ways is impacting our health?
There are different ways climate changes have affected our health. I'm going to come from the nutrition aspect. When we talk about climate changes, we talk about flooding, we talk about heat waves, we talk about how it affects our health. In terms of nutrition, when there is flooding, it leads to production, distribution of food being scarce. That's food insecurity. It increases food insecurity. And when there is food insecurity, there is hike in food prices. Just like something had happened last year when there was heat waves in Nigeria, we realized that the cost of food prices was inflated. Some people couldn't afford the normal things they could afford, unlike when the weather was perfect. And these days in the country, we are having food insecurity, regardless of what happened last year. There is insecurity in terms of human's life. The farmers will go to their farm, they will be attacked by bandits, and that is affecting how people are eating now. And when there is food scarcity or food insecurity, it affects our nutrition. Children are exposed to malnutrition. They are having stunted growth. They are not growing as they ought to grow. You talk about we, the adults, we are no longer eating varieties of food that we're supposed to do. We are not taking monotonous kind of food because that's what we could afford. Then people are also channeling their energy towards buying ultra-processed food because it tends to be cheaper. They can't afford to buy food. Then also doing climate change in terms of heat waves, there is also heat stroke, there is muscle cramp. People are sweating a lot, and as a result of the excessive sweating, they are having nutrient deficiencies because they are losing electrolytes, they are losing nutrients. So in this situation, what should we do? Now, when there is in terms of excessive sweating, you can try as much as possible to stay hydrated. Staying hydrated is not about taking plain water. You can combine your water with water-fruit-rich foods. You can also eat your living vegetables, which will equip your body with the lost nutrients and electrolytes for your maximum body functioning. There is also shift in food system where people could not eat properly because they couldn't afford what is available. So at this point, you can also, like the first speaker talked about home gardening, you can as well incorporate that into your normal life, like planting your vegetables to make sure that you are eating something that is wholesome. You are no longer eating something that you don't know how it's processed. These days, people use fertilizer to grow their vegetables. Vegetables that is meant to grow in 3 months, they are growing it in 2 weeks. And consumption of fertilizers can harm our health.
Irony of life. Beautiful.
I'm happy that I came today. I listened to the first panel, quite an interesting and revealing conversations. I learned a lot myself. Of course, the second panel session was even more interesting. One of the things I would like to say as a personal comment is the fact that we live in a country where a lot of us that are considered as elites in quotes. Somebody said at the panel that we leave our home with AC into our car, with AC into our offices, with AC, and then we do the reverse as the day goes by from our houses, from our offices, maybe to restaurant in AC and so on and so forth. I want to say one thing, please. Make the time to spend time in the sun. Don't neglect the sun. I think that one of the biggest challenges we have when it comes to health is the fact that we don't recognize it, but we are not making enough vitamin D in our bodies. And that is part of the fundamental issues we have to deal with when it comes to our health. So I encourage us. I'm speaking from personal experience. I don't know how much time I have. I want to give a brief, but it's from personal experience. I've done my health check. I've gone for a medical checkup. I've done my health check, basic health check, and I went with my wife. And before we went for that health check, our complaint was back pain. And as we were going, everything in that check was perfect. You are healthy. You are okay. There's nothing wrong with you. What is the problem? As we were going, the consultant said, just go and check for blood glucose levels, vitamin D levels, and it was poor. And when I assessed our lifestyle, we don't stay in the sun. Our forefathers used to be in the sun. Whether they go farming or they go walking on the streets, they are in the sun. But sun, that's my comment.
I must congratulate you on this second edition of this summit. And I think we are changing things for better. And from the panel discussion, you could see that apart from just sitting down here with the professionals, we still need to move to the streets of Nigeria for advocacy when we are talking about self-care. And I just want to liken the self-care, as a driver of optimal health and wellness. And today, we are talking about World Pharmacist Day. Think health, think pharmacy. It's like we are saying, think self-care, think health, and think wellness. There is a meeting point. And the meeting point is that we are all responsible for our health. And in being responsible for our health, we should also be responsible for our environment. Because the environment plays a lot in making sure that we are well. So I believe if we are able to carry this message across to the larger population of Nigeria, things will be better. And you will have contributed more than enough to the well-being of Nigeria and Nigerian citizens. I want to encourage you, and the sky will just be the starting point by the time you are getting there.
Dr. Monica, let me say thank you again for organizing this wellness section. You do realize that if you check the actually virtual program events with you, say Net Pharmacy will deliver awareness every day. Because from our practice, you know, right now you guys, you talked about a lot of things being said about Gen Z. Gen Z are more, they are more interested in building muscles. But that is correct. But a lot of them are also very much aware of wellness, that they need to get well and to fall and prevent themselves from falling into sickness. And so you see a lot of them take preventive measures too. It might not be involved, might not be drugs, might not be taking medicines, but they do other things that help them to preserve their health. But I must say that this kind of conference, when we have experts talk like this, Monica, this is a charge to you. That's which also what Tony talked about. Let's also be able to have those high points and be able to have a way of communicating to the general public. Without missing where a lot of people here are people who probably have a fair idea of what we are talking about awareness, about living well. But what are the people out there? What are the people in the market that are ripening their fruits with carbide and do all kinds of preservations that are affecting our health? We must have a way of communicating with them. Because what is being said here right now is that for us to have self-care, we must take care of ourselves, also take care of the environment. Please, the community or whatever the high points of this meeting, let it be publicized so that people can be aware of it. I don't know what media are going to use, but those are the things you need to do so that this becomes a very holistic meeting, and whatever is being said here is communicated around a good number of our people.
Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Beautiful, so beautiful. Life is so beautiful. Yes. Okay.
Nature's Field, we are setting the standard of quality in nutritional supplements, which means we support intentional self-care practice. So you may ask why supplements? It's because our supplement cuts across various health challenges and deficiencies, which include the drug-induced nutrient deficiency, disease-induced nutrient deficiency, age-related nutrient deficiency, and lifestyle-induced nutrient deficiency. Our supplements target the key areas where self-care is often neglected, such as stress, and we have our magnesium ranges, stress defense, Korean ginseng, vitamin C, and zinc ranges. For mood and physical energy, we have our B-Max, vitamin B ranges, vitamin D, folibin, CoQ10, organic plant protein. Then for sleep, nature's field, we have our melatonin and calm night ranges. And for exercise, we have our L-arginine, creatine, pre and post workouts. The general rule for supplements is that they are considered safe until proven unsafe. The importance of quality supplements cannot be overstated. They offer vital means to support public health, address nutritional deficiencies, and contribute to overall well-being, but only when they are produced and distributed with a steadfast commitment to purity, potency, and safety. So what are the benefits of quality supplements? It ensures efficacy and safety. It bridges nutritional gap in Nigerian diet. It supports overall health and well-being, and also builds patient trust.
Looking at our discussion so far in this second edition of the D'Bio Wellness Program, we're talking about self-care. So I want to ask a question. Have you checked your blood pressure today? Please, I want answers. Have you checked your blood pressure today? Okay. Alright, so if you have not checked your blood pressure today, we always advise, okay, that you check your blood pressure every day or every other day at the least. Today, we started yesterday, we have free screening going on downstairs. You can have a touch and feel experience with some of our blood pressure monitors. It's available, come in and check up. Alright, so what are we talking about? We said that at home run, we are talking about going for zero cardiovascular incidences, and then what we promise is to help healthcare professionals ensure that their patients live better, longer, more active lives. Alright, and then when we do that, we give an ease for patients to monitor their blood pressure monitor, and so we provide fast, convenient, accurate and reliable blood pressure monitors for every of your patients or for every individual. Now, going further, we say that why then should we choose an overall blood pressure monitors or overall blood pressure monitor? Because the overall blood pressure monitors are the only clinically validated devices, blood pressure monitor devices in Nigeria. Well, I stand to be corrected. Why do we say that? When we are making a choice of a blood pressure monitor, it's important that the devices are clinically validated. It assures us of accuracy. Why we want to pick accuracy is we don't want to misdiagnose. We want to ensure that every time we pick a device, it's accurately telling us that the result is reliable and reproducible. So we want to ensure that whether yourself, family members, patients, relatives, check their blood pressure. They are checking it accurately. Results are reproducible and reliable.
Talking on role of vitamin B1, B6, B12, and L-glutamic acid in managing diabetic neuropathy. So these are the composition of our G-glutamine composition, containing glutamic acid 50 milligram, thiamine, which is vitamin B1 10 milligram, redoxin 3 milligram, and cyanocobalamin 10 microgram. So understanding diabetic neuropathy, let's just do a quick recap on diabetic neuropathy. So we have a quick definition of diabetic neuropathy. Neuropathy is a nerve disorder caused by prolonged high blood sugar levels in diabetic patients. And we have up to 3 different types of neuropathy, which is peripheral neuropathy, autonomic neuropathy, and paroxysmal and focal neuropathy. For our discussion today, we'll be emphasizing on peripheral neuropathy, which affects our nerves in the feet and hands, causing numbness and pain. So prevalence and risk factors. Diabetic neuropathy impacts our day-to-day activity, which also affects our quality of life. And poor glycemic control, which significantly increases the risk of developing diabetic neuropathy over time. And also additional risk factor, which includes obesity, smoking, hypertension, and long duration of diabetes, increases the likelihood of nerve damage in individuals. So over the next 20 years, there has been projection that amongst in Nigeria, sub-Saharan Africa, we have the highest growth in the number of people with diabetes compared to other regions in the world. And from the chart we have here, by the next 20 years, the number of people with diabetes in sub-Saharan Africa will be increased by 98% by the next 20 years, according to the research that was done. And people with impaired glucose tolerance will be increased by 76% by the next 20 years, according to this research that has been done for sub-Saharan Africa. And it's concerning because we know what will happen by the next 20 years. From 2023, it was 21.4 million, and by 2010, it was 26.9 million, and by 2030, it's been projected to be rise to 47.3 million.
Challenges of everyday living. Living in Nigeria can be interesting, rewarding and exciting. I know we all know that, but then Nigeria is a high pressure environment, and that can impact on our health outcomes if not properly managed. Speaking about the climate in the panel that we spoke about earlier, we talked about how climate relates to the living standards that we experience in Nigeria, and common health challenges that might occur are mental and physical stress, repetitive strain injuries, eye strain, and sleep disorders. Mental and physical health. Stress can pose a lot of health challenges to we Nigerians, and that can include anxiety and depression, also highlighted in the climate panel that we spoke about. And then going to the physical health challenges, cardiovascular issues, weakened immune system, and then gastrointestinal disturbances, also highlighted in the climate panel that children now are coming up with ulcer. So we also have eye and vision challenges in Nigeria. That's not a new thing, right? So we have vision challenges or eye problems, and that can encompass a wide range of conditions that can affect individuals' ability to operate every day, especially we in the workforce. So common vision problems that we have myopia, aperopia, cataracts, and then glaucoma. I hope everyone here has gotten their eyes checked this year. Wow. Alright, please, I'm using this opportunity to charge us to check out, make sure our eyes are checked this at least once a year, alright? So that we can know what's up with our eyes. And some of our grandparents had glaucoma, and you might not even know. So easy catching up of these things can also help us. Like me, for example, my grandfather he had glaucoma before he passed on. So everybody in the family must get their eyes checked every year, at least once a year.
As you all know, both Pharm is well known in distribution and marketing of high quality standard supplements. We have Immune Boost, senior men of the house. You are concerned about your prostate and the performance in the other room. So we have something for you, which is Immune Boost Senior Men. It has a clinically proven content that boosts the testosterone level. And we all know that as we age, level of testosterone go down, and that affects our normal daily activities, especially in the other room. So Immune Boost Senior Men is for you. It's going to help you with that, because even ED, erectile dysfunction caused by low level of testosterone, it can take care of it. And beside it, it has a prostate support blend, which will take care and maintain the prostate issues as age progresses. Senior women of the house, we also did not forget you. We have Immune Boost Senior Women, in which as you enter menopause stage, the life after menopause can be very challenging. You all will agree with me. And we have those contents that are excellent in alleviating the menopausal symptoms, as well as maintaining the beauty, skin, hair, and nails. And for the children, for our kids, we did not leave them behind. We have Immune Boost Kids Gomi multivitamin that has omega-3 fatty acids, in which it will help with the cognitive function of our children to perform better and to reason well and to have a proper health. And for adults, we have Immune Boost 1AD. For them, you can check more with both Pharm at our exhibition downstairs.
Age Well is not just a product, it was a thought process, the name itself, that people should age well. So a lot went into the name itself. You can imagine what could go into the product. Anyone can Google and they can see that we have a beautiful coconut oil product, a capsule. It's a very simple thing, but that has created a very big change in the entire market. And I don't have too much to say. A lot have been told about the ingredients. I have written a poem, a short one, which will actually tell what Age Well is all about. Age Well capsules, of course it is going to go on air soon because we are even trying to prepare a wrap for it. So Age Well capsules, your health's best friend. All you need is one from start to end. Anti-aging wonders, they make you shine. With cytokinins that work like fine wine. Boost your immunity, keep sickness at bay. Coconut's power, day by day. Bid bacteria farewell with Luric's might. Age Well shield, a beacon of light. From supple skin and luscious hair, coconut's secret beyond compare. Fiber rich, it fuels your day, energy boosted in every way. Nutritious and pure, like a mother's love. Age Well's essence, a blessing from above. Cholesterol's balance, a heart's delight. Age Well's harmony, shining bright. At the end, all in one capsule, Age Well's embrace, a journey to wellness in every case.
The world is beautiful. I'm a perfect example. Everything is on you. Life is so beautiful. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Life is so beautiful. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Life is so beautiful, so beautiful. Now I'm so joyful because my life.
I'm happy to be here, but immediately she called me. I started asking myself, okay, it's good to be here, but what did I do with myself from last year to now? And I walked here boldly because I know, without any doubt, that I'm a better person by what happened last year. I watch what I eat, I do exercise, and I don't do too much because after, when we were closing up last year, my question was, in this busy Lagos, in this economy that is so nice,
no problem,
how do we incorporate all of this into our busy lives? But we all agree that if you have to do it, you just have to find a way to do it. Nobody will do it for you. So thank you for coming again. It's something that, this is not ordinary. Like our keynote address speaker yesterday said, what Dr. Monica is doing, it's not something that is ordinary because everybody is carried away. But very soon we will understand the implications of this. And we are privileged to be hearing this because this is where the world is going. Universal health coverage has always been difficult. Now it is most difficult because the countries of the world are suffering. The monies can't go around. So it is in our best interest, like the keynote address speaker said, our health care has been handed back to us.
It's so incredible. Everything around me is so peaceful. Hard times will come, but I will stay hopeful. Those days, I was never thoughtful. The mistakes I made are my breakthrough. Now I realize the world is so beautiful, so wonderful, so peaceful.
Never knew good things could be so helpful. I learned to the hard way, the only way.
D'Bio.
Elevate wellness, embrace self-care.
The second edition has proved to be very engaging and very impactful, and it's nice to hear from people how this self-care movement is resonating in different spheres. So it's becoming real and moving from an abstract to the reality where people are coming to embrace it and understand that self-care actually has a role to play, and it can really help us elevate wellness as we embrace self-care. So I'm quite fulfilled that we're making steps in the right direction, and we are getting more people involved and to be part of the movement towards self-care. But I would say it is necessary that existing frameworks and policies that are in place to be strengthened. We do know that there are some guidelines for self-care in sexual and reproductive health. There is a need for us to expand those guidelines in other areas that impact, as well as looking to support and encourage organizations through our policies to drive self-care, which has a direct bearing on the economy. When you have a healthier population, they're more productive and will definitely impact us positively as we grow Nigerian economy.
Today is the World Pharmacist Day, September 25th, set aside by International Pharmaceutical Federation all over the world. And the global theme for this year is Think Health, Think Pharmacy. And Thinking Health, Thinking Pharmacy precludes that pharmacists have been playing pivotal role in the health situation all over the world. And it calls for the recognition of pharmacists, recognizing their role, imagining what they can do in the health sector, and making sure that they are given all the necessary support by the government and other stakeholders to make sure that pharmacists continue to live up to the expectation of their performance in the healthcare ecosystem. Pharmacists, as professionals, are the most available of the healthcare professionals. They are easily accessible, and many patients all over the world can easily reach out to pharmacy and pharmacists for one consultation or the other about their ailment, about what they need to do, about what they need to know about their disease condition or whatever they are managing, be it cardiovascular diseases, diabetic management, and what have you. So that is the reason why pharmacy is pivotal to the nation's health. So for all Nigerians, I would say when Nigerians are thinking about health, they must be thinking of pharmacy and pharmacists. Pharmacy profession require all the necessary support to make sure that the health of our nation is at top notch. And in doing this, I will employ the government of Nigeria to always put pharmacists first when it comes to pharmaceutical affairs. And that's one of the reasons why we are advocating that at the federal government level, there should be an advisor on pharmaceutical matters at the federal government level, who must be a seasoned pharmacist that will be engaged by the government to coordinate all pharmaceutical matters so that things can work well in the pharmaceutical sector in our country. And at the same time, the Pharmacist Council of Nigeria, which is the body set up to regulate the practice of the profession in all forms and ramifications, needs its governing council to be constituted. It is not enough to have the chairman of the governing council without the necessary backing of consummating the governing council by convoking their inauguration. So
we are calling on the coordinating Minister of Health to do the needful at this point in time, so that the necessary discipline that is required to make sure that all stakeholders who are involved in pharmaceutical services can be put on their toes to do the needful in pharmaceutical services in this country is brought to bear. So once again, we implore the government to put in place the governing council so that pharmaceutical affairs can take its rightful place in Nigeria.
Third edition will build on the first and the second, and it's going to be, we're already talking about some different things. I won't let the cat out of the bag, but it's going to be much more engaging and thrilling. We had an awesome time with the second edition, and we know and trust God that the third edition will take us to another level.
I'm a big artist for Nigeria. FIFA Pharm is on the way. Hey, yeah. I'm so happy.